Insights with Terri Ep.197 a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.197. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.197. Thank you for joining me, and we will explore together the week of December the 1st through December the 8th. Getting so close to Christmas. Hope all your shopping's being attended to. This is a very, very, very optimistic time. We have Sagittarius in the sun sign. We also have it in Mercury, which is how we think, how we communicate. When we have something that optimistic, that never say die kind of energy, it can give us the will to do things and to continue doing things without giving up, to maybe really invest ourselves in something and just keep going. I love that kind of energy. I absolutely love that. It's a good time to maybe look at things that I don't want to say scare you, but put you off. It might be too much for you to do, or it feels a little scary or overwhelming. I'm going to take something really silly as an example. Being on my own, everything lands on my shoulders, right? So I don't have a big burly man that I can ask to, could you please get the ladder and get way up there and change that floodlight for me so I can see the chickens at night? Or can you help me get this smoke alarm off the ceiling and change the battery? So I have to do these things myself, and I'm terrified of heights. So, courage, I have learned over the years, is not just not being afraid. It's being afraid and having fear, but doing it anyway. That's courage. And I know it's just a light bulb, or it's just getting the battery down. It's not like facing the Hitler army in the dead of winter. But it's still scary, and everybody has their scary threshold. So when I look at every little thing that I achieve, little things, just little things, it just makes me feel better and a little bit more optimistic for the next challenge that comes. Another challenge that happened today, it's a silly little challenge. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I have dog food that I sell. It's called a Nook Shook. It's a really, as an aside, it's a really good dog food. It's a professional blend. It's not sold in the stores, and it's made for performance dogs. And because I buy so much of it at a time, I have a really good price threshold. So I pass that on to people that want to give the best to their dogs as well, and need a better price than what we get in the store. Okay, so I diverted myself, I'm sorry. So I have bought a ported storage bin, and I had to lock it just because. Well, with this winter, didn't it freeze? And somebody wanted the dog food, and I said to come and get it, but I can't get the key in the lock, and I don't want to disappoint anybody. So what am I supposed to do? Well, anyway, I figured it out. As mundane, I know all of you, I can hear your head saying, get a match, get a lighter, pour boiling water over it, which is exactly what I did. I poured boiling water over it, worked like a charm, got in, but then because there was water everywhere, I froze it in another direction. Anyway, long story short, which is too late for that, really, I achieved success, and I got the dog food for the people that were coming for the dog food. But it made me feel good about myself that this challenge, this little challenge, I actually overcame it. And that's what this Sagittarius is. It's going to throw, the universe will throw some challenges at us, big, small, intermediate, and giving us the opportunity to think through it with that Mercury in Sagittarius, and to work with it in a positive way to try to overcome, to make you feel better about yourself because you did these little things and they're behind you. So it's not to break us down, it's to build us up, but it feels like we're being, oh, what now? So let's not get that into our head, what now? Let's get into our head, oh, I can do this, I can do this. When I do readings for people, it seems that the theme at this point, in many, many cases, is difficulty working for companies that have a toxic work environment. I am so blessed. I am so blessed to be able to own my own business. But I have worked in toxic environments. And then I sought work that was on my own. So as a sales rep, I was basically in the car by myself most of the time and just had to make a phone call and deal with people minimally, peers. The customers were wonderful. It was the people I worked with that were difficult to work with. And that seems to be the biggest thing that so many people are experiencing right now. And so how do we handle this? What do we do? How do we keep ourselves in a position that doesn't feel like we're being dragged down by negative Nellies or negative talk or supervisors that ask for things that are insurmountable and impossible to achieve, thus we don't feel good about ourselves. And it's so clear when we walk into an environment that is friendly and happy and like each other and support each other. I mean, it's so visible. I'm going to give you an example. I got some very expensive glasses from Visions of Canada. I'm a very complicated person in just about everything I do. So of course the prescription is going to be complicated, and of course it's not going to go smooth. But the environment there is amazing. They really and truly like each other. They support each other. So instead of me just being another customer that they want to get out the door, they challenged each other to try to figure out how could we work with this. So it turned into kind of a fun project as opposed to, oh, here comes Mrs. Whiny again. And that's what we need to surround ourselves with as much as we can, is people that understand that we're only the best of us happens when we're with the best people with the best attitude and the best energy. And that's not always possible when we're forced to work in environments that are toxic. So what do we do about it? Do you become part of the toxic soup? Or do you try to float on the surface? Do you quit your job and find something else? Most of the people that I talk about, and that's a decision that's yours, most of the people that I talk about this to, all, without exception, say the only thing that's keeping me here is the money. So then we have to look at, we're selling ourselves, right? We are. I mean, we truly are. You're selling part of your life, your day, your time, your skill to whoever is willing to buy it. And that means you're subservient to them to a degree. They own you for so many hours, but they don't own you after those hours. And as long as you don't keep thinking about it and stewing in that soup, it might be a little bit better for you. So given that we have a difficulty in that energy field, how do we rise above this negative energy? And that's an individual thing. How do we find happiness in and amongst all of that? That's an individual thing. There is no one answer to that. It's something we all have to search for individually. Now, that may be a little bit harder in the next little bit because Mars, the planet of our passion, our drive in Leo, which should give us some exuberance, some reason to roar, is going to go retrograde on the 6th of December. That can take a lot of our energy away. It can make us kind of feel like we're imploding. Now, we can get away from that by maybe taking vitamins or getting enough sleep or eating the right foods. But also, maybe it's sent to us to make us slow down a little bit. If we don't have the energy to zing around and fly around the room and bust our butts trying to get ahead, maybe we, in that time of slowing down, will find an awareness of what are we spending most of our time doing. Is it fretting? Is it worrying? Is it spinning our wheels? Is it doing things that we dislike? Is it forcing ourselves to do something we don't like? Is it forcing ourselves to be with people that we don't want to be with, but we do anyway? So we do have to look at all of that. What are we investing ourselves in? And is it appropriate for ourselves? Is it making us happy? Is it helping us to be happy? Those are questions you're going to have to ask yourself in the next little bit. And the helper for that is Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and attraction. What do we love to do? What do we love? Is in Capricorn. And Capricorn energy can help us sort that out if we let it. And that's what we are supposed to do, is let it help us sort that out. So you've got your hands full, kids. Lots of questions you're going to ask yourself this week. And look on the bright side as much as you can. I would like to suggest, if anybody likes reading or audible books, I just got this from the library, called Four Winds, and it's by Hannah. If anybody's interested, they can email me, terri.coutts@gmail.com, and I can give them the author, but it's Hannah something. This is just an impromptu thing. But it's Four Winds, and it takes into consideration the lives of people that lived through 1921 up through the 19th century to, I'm going to say, survive, not thrive. They just made it. The end of the Second World War, the Depression, the Dust Bowl. But it's a fascinating listen or read, and it makes you grateful for everything that we have, and it makes you realize how resilient the human nature is, and how resilient we can be, and how community, just being with each other, just a little bit of love can lift us up and make us feel so good. But it's a good read, and I think it's educational and very entertaining. You might want to avail yourself of that. Now, the beginning of the week, our vulnerable parts will be the liver, the hips, the tops of our hips, our thighs, and our sacrum. So if you're vulnerable in that area, you're going to feel it. And then as we go through the middle of the week, it'll move down to the backbone. It could be our joints, our knees. So I'm already preparing, make sure you got your turmeric and your glucosamine, maybe Voltaren for those achy joints, or a nice heating pad. Just don't eat bad foods that add to the inflammation, because you're not going to be able to tolerate it very well at all. Then towards the end of the week, we'll be looking at the calves, the ankles, the Achilles heel. All of that will be as well vulnerable. So we're kind of moving from liver, hips, thighs, all the way down to our calves, and then our toes and our feet. But towards the end of the week, that psychic gland, because the moon will be in Pisces, will be available to us. So if you want to work with your intuition, that's a great time. Number 3 was given to us for this week, and that's an opportunity to be mentally alert. Boy, I want 2 spoonfuls of that, I'll tell you. And it gives us a creative mind when you combine it with where the planets are right now. And being original, not being part of the pack, being original with a really, really good imagination. Now you take all of those qualities, we're going to hate boredom, that's for sure. But it offers us an opportunity to cooperate with others, to maybe want to be in their company to a degree and cooperate with them. So maybe we can help ourselves with some of this peer pressure that we're experiencing at work, and see if we can work it in a charming and witty way. We've got to be very careful of being critical of other people during this time, because that could come back and bite us on the butt if we're not careful. And we have to learn how to be more diplomatic. I think the whole world needs to learn how to be more diplomatic like we used to be, and have lost our way. Just because we can tell people off doesn't mean that we're big, thinking people. It means that maybe we don't have control over ourselves or our words enough to do it properly. We will feel the need, because that's Sagittarius with number 3, to work freely and with not somebody helicoptering themselves over us. So the restraints aren't going to feel good for us right now. So we'll like working in pairs, and we'll work better with under stress, not over stress. And this energy is going to activate our mental energy. So that's a really good thing. And it prepares us to maybe succeed a little bit quicker than normal and give us a little bit more ambition and the ability to open up more. I love it. There's some inventiveness and some imagination in solving some problems. So we do need that. So I was able to fix the lock and actually change a light bulb. Wow, who knew? And this is an energy field that could be superficial if we're not careful, but we don't want it to be superficial. That's not the way to do it. The cards have suggested to us to really pay attention to our health. I know they've said that before, but we really do need to. And that, you know what that, I'm not going to say it. I've said it 100 times in the last couple of months. You know the drill, but we do have to pay attention to our health because it's going to be under some stress because of the cold weather, because of diseases that are running rampant right now, which is colds, flu, and the cold itself challenges our body too. I'm really careful with my animals. When it gets cold like this, they're not prepared for it. So they might need coats, the dogs, that they didn't need before or wouldn't need at this temperature in the middle of the winter, but they're just not prepared for it. I make sure that the ducks and the chickens have a nice warm place that they can get to and get out of the wind. And I give them a little bit more good, healthy food because they're going to need that to support themselves with this cold weather that's here and coming, because their immune system will start to take a dive if I'm not careful. The card of seclusion, which is a picture of a monk in a nice quiet place, has come up, suggesting that maybe we need to take some time for ourselves, if we can, and maybe just be quiet-minded, quiet body, do some contemplation, do some maybe quiet. You can think, but maybe we can just be, just to sit and be and let the universe put some ideas in our heads in a quiet moment. That's what's being offered to us this week. And to find that little piece of joy that we can find in that little bit of stuff that we do. Just anything that we can lock onto and just really enjoy. Be it a piece of toast with a little bit more butter than you usually use. Or maybe just a titch of blackcurrant jam. Or just a taste of something that you really like, or maybe food that you really do like. Eat a little bit slower and just enjoy every morsel of it, or a walk, or taking the dog for a play. Anything that makes you feel good and makes you feel happy that you're here, so that when the challenges come, you're a little bit more resilient and a little bit more resistant to it. On that note, I'm wishing you all a very good week. Take advantage of where all these energies are, and we have that new moon that starts on the 1st of December, and that's new behaviors, new thinking, new repatterning of how we have our patterns. Just a wonderful, wonderful energy field that would allow for us to maybe observe ourselves, what we do, what patterns are creating this reality for us, and do we like it? Or do we want to change it a little bit? So we're being offered that opportunity to do that. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Charlie O'Brien for all of the work that he does for us, putting us on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, on Amazon Music, on everything, SoundCloud, YouTube. Then he gives me the, what would you call it, the link, and then I can put it on Facebook, and then we can all get confused. And don't be afraid to tune in to his radio, Big 8, all the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, super music. That's Charlie O'Brien's Big 8. And if you have a website that you need doing, he's really good at that too. Alrighty, thank you, Charlie, and thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to this and trying to make each other's life just a little bit easier and a little bit happier. Maybe in just little things that you do. Little things become big things when we keep working at it. So thanks again, everybody, for taking care of each other. You have yourself a wonderful week. If you need me, you can text or call 519-726-6699, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com if you need any help with your animals, or if you'd like a private reading for yourself. I would be very happy to do that. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.